Welcome to Inside the Vandals, a weekly show covering University of Idaho football and the Vandals in action. Inside the Vandals is brought to you by the School of Journalism and Mass Media.
Welcome to Inside the Vandals. I'm Braden Kane.
I'm Harrison Lashinger.
We'll be joining you on a weekly basis, bringing you everything you need to know about Vandal sports this fall, mainly focusing on football, but also keeping you updated with volleyball and soccer as well.
As we take a look into today's matchup against Western New Mexico, let's take a look into last week's game against Fresno State, all the possible improvements we'll see throughout the year, and the huge changes we're going to see on the field. One
of those huge changes is a new dual quarterback system the offense has been trying out. Coach Petrino has been splitting reps between Mason Petrino and Colton Richardson. I had a chance to sit down with Coach earlier this week to discuss those changes, as well as look at last week's game and looking forward to today's game against Western New Mexico. Coach, thank you for joining us on the show. Some good energy out there at practice today.
We did have good energy. You know, we got a bunch of good kids. Our guys know how to work hard. They know how to grind. Obviously, we were disappointed in what happened last weekend, but we'll come back. We got a bunch of fighters. We got some older guys that were on that bowl team. They know how to work. They know how to win. And we'll come back and we'll get this thing going in the right direction.
Has that leadership really helped you guys out coming into this season, you know, having some guys that were in the bowl game a couple years ago?
It has. It has. We got some guys that have played a lot of football. We don't have that many. We don't have that many seniors, but the ones that we do have played a lot of football, and we'll be an extremely old team the next 2 years. But this year we're a little bit young, but that's part of it. Just go out and fight as hard as you can and get better each week.
We'll get right into it. Last week you were on the road at Fresno State. Didn't get the outcome you wanted, but what are some things you took away from the game?
You know, we just got to play one play at a time and execute, you know, and you can't turn the ball over. Obviously, you can't turn the ball over. You can't get field goals blocked. There were parts of it. There was parts in the second and third quarter where we moved the ball well and we actually stopped them. And if he didn't turn the ball over, the game would have been a lot closer. But you can't turn the ball over against anybody, and definitely not against a good team like them. So there's things we can build on, some positives, and we'll build on those and get better and just go out there and play a lot better this weekend.
Well, we saw both Mason Petrino and Colton Richardson take reps at quarterback last week. Are you looking to continue that strategy?
We will this game for sure. You know, we're going to do that. From the get-go, I said the first 2 games of the year we're going to do that, and then we have a bye, and then we start conference play. So we'll do the same thing again this week, and then we'll move on from there and really evaluate everything that's happening, how everybody's playing, and what's best for the team.
Well, we'll transition into this week now. You face Western New Mexico. What are you expecting to see from them as a team? You
know, they play hard. They got a new coach. He looks like he's really done a good job of getting them disciplined, and they play hard, and they're good effort guys. And so, you know, it's a lot about us, getting us ready to play this week, and really our mindset and how we're going to go play our hardest, and we're going to do things right. And we'll know what they're doing, what their scheme is, and how they're doing things. But it's real important that we go out there and take care of ourselves and play hard.
Mm-hmm. What is the focus for your team during practice this week?
Eliminate mistakes, really. You know, because I don't think it was a bunch of effort. It was, you know, you got young guys and they were making a mistake. And in football, 11 guys got to do their job in every play. And it was like one guy making a mistake here, one guy making a mistake here, and then that causes you to have turnovers or causes you to have bad plays. So we all got to just really understand our assignments and do our assignments with great effort and continue to grow and get better that way.
Well, this Saturday is not only the home opener, it's also the Hall of Fame game. Former head coach Dennis Erickson will be inducted. How would you explain the legacy he left here as a coach?
Oh, he left a great one. You know, our families go back a long ways. His wife is actually sisters to one of my cousin's wives, and we've known the Ericksons forever. My dad and him were good friends. So all the way back when he was a young pup, he coached against my dad in high school when he was at Billings Central. My dad was at Butte Central. So played at Montana State. So we know the Ericksons forever. His son coached for me, you know, here at Idaho, and he was just a great coach. I mean, everybody knows. I mean, he's in every Hall of Fame in the country. You know, he's in the National Hall of Fame. He's in the Miami Hall of Fame. He'll everywhere he ever coached, he'll probably be in the Hall of Fame there. And what he really did is he taught people how to spread people out and throw the ball. You know, and we really still a lot of our quick game from when we came together, me and my brother, and kind of put our offense together. Most of our quick games actually even still called the way he called it. You know, and most of our quick game and some of our top drop back plays are still, you know, from him, originated from him. So he's a legendary coach, really a unbelievable offensive mind, and you know, it'll be really cool to have him around here.
Well, very cool to learn about that relationship between your guys' families. That's all the time we have today, though, Coach. Once again, thank you for joining us, and good luck this Saturday.
All right, thanks. You did a great job.
Thank you. We'll be back with Inside the Vandals.
Here you go, hon.
Hello, I'm an Idaho potato farmer. Did you ever notice that the very first bite of every great meal is always the potato? That's why it should always be an Idaho potato. Only genuine Idaho potatoes have the perfect taste and texture to get your meal started right. Hey, look! It's huge! Oops, gotta go. Wait! Come back!
Welcome back to Inside the Vandals. As you saw when I sat down with Coach earlier this week, he's going to keep this dual quarterback system going for today's game. The Vandals faced a really tough defense in Fresno State last week, so hopefully today's game will give us a better look at which quarterback's going to take over the reins for the season.
Our reporter Hunter Funk had an opportunity to catch up with one of Mason Petrino's favorite wide receivers from last year, who will hopefully have an impact on this year's season.
I'm here with wide receiver senior David Unger. Thanks for joining us. So after Fresno State, first game of the season, maybe didn't go quite as planned. What are you planning to do different, or what have you been doing different in practice?
Yeah, we've just been paying attention a lot more to the little details, we were lacking on that this past Saturday, but that's something we've been really focusing on, and just, upping up our energy and our enthusiasm, and just trying to bring a win home for the Vandal fans.
So you're a key returner for the offense. What have you been working on specifically kind of to get that groove back that you're talking about?
Just, working on my hands every day, working on the details in my routes, making sure I become a better blocker every day. It's a lot different blocking linebackers instead of cornerbacks this year, so that's something I'm really trying to improve on, and just trying to be a good leader every day for the team and bring good energy, and just do everything we can to win.
The team's back in the Big Sky Conference. What does this mean?
It means a lot. It means a lot to us. It means a lot to our fans. It means a lot to the Moscow community. We're just hoping that we can represent the school well, and hopefully win a lot of games in this conference.
Last question. I've heard that you are one of the greatest dancers. How do you feel about that? Tell me more.
I don't know. That's a hard question, because I don't think many people have seen me dance. I kind of keep it within our circle, but I appreciate whoever said that about me. I really do.
Do you think that any of the Vandal fans will be seeing some dance moves?
I think they will if they show up to pregame and we got some good music playing on the jumbotron.
Well, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Hunter. Hunter will be joining us every week to give us an inside look on some of your Vandals.
And when we come back, we'll take a look at Vandals in action up next.
It's time for the return of tradition.
He's to the 40, down the numbers to the 20, to the 10, and he's to the 5, touchdown!
The return of rivalries.
Touchdown, Idaho! Touchdown, Idaho!
It's time for the return of Vandal
To
football.
the backfield! Idaho wins!
Vandal
Idaho
football
wins!
2018.
Oh my goodness!
Visit govandals.com for tickets.
Here you go, hon.
Hello, I'm an Idaho potato farmer. Did you ever notice that the very first bite of every great meal is always the potato? That's why it should always be an Idaho potato. Only genuine Idaho potatoes have the perfect taste and texture to get your meal started right.
Hey, look! It's huge!
Oops, gotta go.
Wait! Come back!
Welcome back to Inside the Vandals. Part of our weekly show will include a segment called Vandals in Action.
Jonah Baker and Zach Kellogg will be joining us every week to bring you updates on Idaho volleyball, soccer, and any other sports on campus. Joining us now, Zach and Jonah.
Thanks, Harrison. I'm Zach Kellogg.
And I'm Jonah Baker.
We'll be covering the fall sports here at the University of Idaho. I'll be covering soccer.
And I'll be covering volleyball. Both teams in action on the road this week, with the volleyball team playing at the Rainbow Challenge in Hawaii.
Let's take a look back here on this edition of Vandals in Action.
Lots of excitement in Vandal sports as soccer and volleyball each withstood tough challenges on the road. Let's start with soccer. The Idaho Vandals came into Thursday's game with a 2-3 record, but they would have their work cut out for them as they faced the number 17 team in the nation just 8 miles down the road at Washington State. It was the first matchup since 2009 for the Palouse rivals, and Washington State applied pressure all game, 12 shots in the first half and 10 in the second. Washington State's continued pressure broke through in the 38th minute as Megan O'Neill opened the scoring for the Cougars. Idaho held strong for much of the second half before giving up 2 more goals in the 70th and 76th minutes. Idaho will be back at home Sunday to play UC Riverside before heading back out on the road. The Idaho Vandal volleyball team was also on the road this weekend, and they faced off against Hawaii in the first of a 3-game tournament in Honolulu. The Vandals lost 3-1 against the University of Hawaii. Idaho was able to steal a close second set, but the Rainbow Wahine kept Idaho at bay for the rest of the match. Kayla Straw led both teams with 20 kills, but it wasn't enough to push the Vandals over the top. Idaho will play their next match against Portland tonight before traveling to the Fullerton Classic next weekend. For Inside the Vandals, I'm Jonah Baker.
Volleyball will be back home for a quick couple-day pit stop before heading back out on the road.
Yeah, they'll be going to the Fullerton Classic in California for the last tournament of the season. They still have to wait until the beginning of October before they have their next home match.
I'm sure the players will greatly appreciate having a couple of days rest quickly back at home before heading back out on the road for another road trip.
And now for a story about a sport that's giving back to its community, Emily Bernil with the story.
Every year, the Vandal Swim and Dive team participates in the Swim Across America Cancer Awareness event. The Vandals raise money for research and participate in the 2-mile swim across Lake Washington.
It's great to be able to use their athletic talent for something other than wins and losses. Swim Across America is a national organization that uses the sport of swimming to raise money for cancer research. What's great about the organization is that it keeps the money local, so these girls can see the impact that their money makes.
My grandma died from cancer complications. Every year I swim for her. I usually write on my arm like hashtag cookie love because she made the best cookies. I swim for her because she always resides a tight place in my heart. The team bonding is definitely a huge part of it because it's our first event as a team, and being in a non-competitive environment because we are swimming for a cause. We're not swimming for ourselves, we're swimming for other people. And it's a really cool experience to be able to be a part of.
A great story from Emily Brunel. Not only is she one of our best reporters on our team, but she also is a Vandal swimmer as well.
Always great to see one of our student athletes be able to help out athletics on the other side of things, as well as be a part of the athletics program. That's all the time we have for this week. Up next, the home opener, Idaho versus Western New Mexico. Dennis Patchen and Ryan Phillips with the call. For Inside the Vandals, I'm Braden Kane.
I'm Harrison Lashier.
And we'll see you guys next week.
It's time for the return of tradition.
He's to the 40, down the numbers to the 20, to the 10, and he's to the 5, touchdown!
The return of rivalries.
Touchdown, Idaho! Touchdown, Idaho!
It's time for the return of Vandal football.
Idaho wins!
Vandal
Idaho
football
wins!
2018.
Oh my goodness!
Visit govandals.com for tickets.